Hey guys, Dalton here. Just thought I'd do a bit of an update on my turbo for my 6.5. I put on a hxw40 eBay version. Seems to be working alright for me. I know longevity and all might not be as good, but I'm kind of cheap, so on a tight budget. Couple things when I was installing it. It mounted up perfectly to the bottom. I had a T3 flange, so that was fine, and the oil line actually fit perfect as well. So just installed that like a normal GM8. At the same time, I put in a diamondeye exhaust system. I had to put the exhaust system kind of in, mock it up, and then I put the turbo in, and then I had to build this. Still a little warm. That wasn't too bad. I had to redo it, add this little extension on the side here. Here came with the turbo, and I wanted it to be able to bolt directly to the factory exhaust. So if I ever wanted to put my GM8 turbo back on, it would just be pretty simple. The reason I had to add this on is because the wastegate, which I don't know if you can see right there, it opens this way and it would hit this plate because it was just flat, so I cut it out just to make room, because I wanted to be able to have an open wastegate. So when the wastegate was open all the way with no spring or nothing on there, I could only build like 8 pounds of boost. If I ever did something to the injection pump or whatever to get more fuel, I would be able to still control it. More fuel equals more boost, so I just wanted a little wiggle room. So now I got the spring on there and I'm pushing it up back up to 14, or well, it's closer to 15, I guess, but I'm just a little chicken to run any more than that. I'm sure it'd be fine at high RPM, but I know I'm safe at 15. So the wastegate hole, also I ground it out as big as I could make it because it was tiny. I just took a die grinder burr and opened it up. I had this off the truck and unbolted from the center section, so I didn't have to worry about damaging my turbine wheel. So this spring wastegate actually basically just unbolted off of the GM8 turbo and bolted it on here. I had to ream these holes out just a little and change the wastegate spring arm just from like a, I'm not even sure how it was on the other one, but just from a pin to a hole, I think is all I did. So wasn't really hard at all. I took a die grinder also, because this is a split housing on the intake of the turbo, and I knifed that edge, and so now I don't use a double gasket. I just use, like, see, here's my GM8. So this is just all open, and the hx40 that I have goes, there's a thing there and there's 2 compartments. So I just knifed that edge. I don't know, just streamline everything. My opinion is good. Yeah, like this hole here is twice the size of the one that came on that hxw40. So yeah, I was concerned that I would be over boosting, and I was. So I hogged it out and I streamlined the hole a little better. And this is a 4-inch inlet, and the factory was, well, it's like 3. So I just bought a silicone coupler on Amazon, and this AFE maybe came with one of the parts trucks that I bought, so that was nice. And I just put some baler belting in here. It doesn't look real nice, but I'm trying to keep the hot air out of the engine bay from going into my filter. So this is my crankcase vent. It just goes down. Nothing spectacular, but it works. I have, and this also had a flange on it, and I just cut it off as well. So the hacksaw or sawzall or whatever. And I had it hooked up to my with no intercooler, and it fit just fine. I had to find some fittings. I had just some laying around. I think that's an ORB in there, but I'm not sure if it's the right one, because I can see there's a little chunk of O-ring sticking out, but it's not leaking, so I'm just waiting for it to start leaking though. And this is the factory turbo support rod. I just made a little bit of a bend in it, and it fit nicely. I want to buy a turbo hat. Keep the heat out. Just keep the heat out. Try to keep my engine bay as cool as possible. I know it's almost impossible, but it just makes me feel a little better. Spooling from no boost to 3 pounds of boost is the only time that I feel I have some turbo lag. And that's the only time that I really have smoke. It smokes quite a bit from 0 to 3 pounds, but after that it's just bang, 10. So far so good. I know I could crank the boost out of this sucker. Like, I'm sure I could get 20 pounds of boost easy, but I just don't want to. Well, I mean, I want to, but I'm not going to. I also ordered the 14 centimeter exhaust housing. It was like 14 or 16, and I was just concerned about spooling, so I got the 14. But it spools pretty good, so I'm curious about the 16. So if you put the 16 on, let me know. I'm curious. I was wondering about EGTs, really. Or if anybody's put like a billet wheel on one of these. I'm curious. If you have, let me know. So I was curious. I could probably just upgrade this compressor wheel and turn my boost back. I'll keep my boost at 14 or 15, but then I'd be having lower exhaust pressures. So that would be nice. The lower exhaust pressures, I'd have better cylinder fill, more efficiency, really. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments. Oh yeah, I cut the exhaust flange off of this exhaust housing. Here's the flap for the wastegate. It's quite large compared to this one. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer them. It's so stinking windy today. Fields are blowing and yeah, it's crazy. All right, goodbye.